All right. Ponteronten, how are you doing today?
I'm all right. How about you, dude?
I'm doing good. So as you guys can see, I feel like this looks a lot better. You tell me what you think.
It does. It does. Yeah.
Yeah. We both got the HD webcams. All
Oh yeah. The true move.
right. So we got a lot of different news to talk about. It's all kind of it's mostly centered around, I would say, Strive, Street Fighter, some Street Fighter news, some Mortal Kombat
Oh yeah.
news, and some Evo news.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, we got I posted that one, the Evo part, kind of late in our conversations,
Yeah. Yeah.
but other than that, I want to talk about the first thing about the Rivals of Aether
Oh
developer
yeah.
talking about how to do accessibility right, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think.
oh, I'm sorry, good.
Oh yeah. I can start off if you want. So one of the creators of the Rivals of Ether, Dan Fornes, went out on Twitter to actually share some wisdom on the topic after working on fighting games for about 8 years now in the trenches, and he came to the conclusion that you shouldn't really focus on making the game easier for people. It should just make them more appealing for them to come in and want to put in the time and dedication to actually become good at the video game, and also go with these small and easy achievements, so to say, like actually pulling away a fireball. So it's just like, oh man, I lost, but I actually did manage to throw away a fireball this time
Hmm.
without problems, and that's those kind of small victories that makes it more of an interesting way to go. I think also Event Hubs also stood up with the a description of it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And I think that was a good way to describe fighting games as a whole. And what Dan Fornas actually wanted to take away from this is that you should focus less on trying to make things easier, focus more on making it more interesting for people to pick up and play.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely something, and the reason why this relates to Guilty Gear is because a lot of people are saying that this was kind of their philosophy as well,
Hmm.
where I feel like getting into the game and just doing basic stuff was fun, and then
Yeah,
that kind of led me to want to see, oh well, what else can I do, and then what else can I do, and
exactly.
and it slowly works you. It's like the way the game is designed; it pushes you towards the more higher level mechanics naturally if you're interested in doing that. But you
Of
don't have to
course.
because you're already having fun doing basic stuff.
Exactly.
So I think that's a
That,
really good way to go about it because, like I said, I've played a lot of fighting games where they try to make the game accessible, but it just ends up making either the game not fun
mhm,
or it ends up making it easier to do pretty broken things, where
of
it's
course.
kind of
Yeah.
like what he says right here. Many simplifications that devs have tried over the last 10 years end up being used by pros to make strong characters more reliable while not helping new players figure out why they lose neutral over and over.
Mm,
So like that's kind of like I think like what's it called like Grand Blue for example, how it makes it a lot easier to like play a character like Lance and do recas, and the new player is still sitting there kind of just like, well, I don't really know why I'm losing neutral. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
exactly.
This man is just
Exactly.
mashing on me in my face over and over again. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Or
I think.
I'm sorry, or my favorite game of all time that I always talk about, Mortal Kombat 11 is a good example of that,
Mhm.
where they simplified the game by making it harder, making it easier for people to jump, but then all the strong characters were characters who had aerial mobility.
Mhm.
So if you already can't anti-air, you already can't enforce footsies, then you make characters who have huge air mobility and huge air normals and all this other stuff. Then basically those characters end up being the strongest.
Of course, and it really goes to this for show as well as you can look. It's just like if you make the game easier, it will become quicker for the pros to actually come in and then start messing things around, so to say. And
Exactly.
that's the thing. That's one of the things you have to be very careful of when you do it, because if you make it easier just for your newbies and casuals, then you're also making it easier for the pros to actually just go in and go fast. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a double-edged sword, so to say.
Yeah, exactly. And I like the fact that he also said during my time on Rivals, you don't need to ask how to make things easier for the new player. Instead, focus on making the most basic actions feel good and each new thing feel even cooler. And like I said, that's one of the things. Like when I was labbing Strive myself, the more I kept finding out, what literally kept me there for 10 plus hours a day for like a week, just labbing stuff was like, oh, and then you could do this, but then on this you could do this, and then on this you could do this, and it's kind of like, man, you go from one basic action. Out of that one basic action, there's so much depth built into each basic action, you know.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I don't know if you saw like the Eno stuff, like her jump K. There's like at least 10 different options she could do from that. When she does the short hop K, there's like 10 different options she could do for that. But then there's also different options you could do for that. You know,
Of course, of
and
course.
it just came from just looking at the move and just seeing like, can I anti-air it? That was just the general question. It was, oh, this move is kind of annoying. Let me see if I can anti-air it. And then I ended up finding like 20 different things. You
Oh
know.
yeah,
So yeah,
good amount
yeah. So other than
adjustment.
that, that's the Rivals of Aether slash Guilty Gear news. The Rivals of Aether creator, I think that's a very good take, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I
Um,
think it was the same. Well, that's good amount of wisdom to share. It was just not about talking smack. It was more just like, yeah, this is kind of the reality. It's like we, if you claim that you're gonna make it easier for new players, then it's just like it's you're kind of nuts. It's still a journey ahead of them, and they need to understand that you need to put some effort into this in order to actually get those W's.
exactly, exactly. So yeah, I mean, I like that. So
Yeah.
while we're on the topic of that, we can also talk about the fact that Guilty Gear Strive Twitter, since we're talking about accessibility, I think May might win the crown for most accessible character. Because what's crazy about accessibility is that, and I've seen a lot of games do this, and this is my theory, like a character will be kind of overpowered in the beginning, kind of like Ram during the beta, because they're the most accessible and people can find their value quickly, and it
Mhm.
takes a while for people to learn how to play against that matchup. I feel like May was strong during the beta, but I don't know what happened. It's like everyone, I guess because there were so many Ramlethals, everyone kind of just learned the matchup and stopped complaining
Mm.
about her. But now all we're hearing about is May, you know? Like
Yeah.
May, May, May. And I don't know if you remember the tournament from last night. Hyper Hiko pretty much ran up losers all the way
Yeah.
through losers with May, and his May was not like, he was not gimmicking. Like I labbed the mess out of May, and I can tell you right now, everything he was doing. Well, he did do some fake stuff when he realized that
Oh yeah.
there was some shenanigans there.
We started noticing certain things that he did that made me want to shout like, "Oh, fraud alert! Fraud alert!"
Yeah, yeah. There was some fraudery, towards the end of the sets where he,
Oh yeah.
like when it was like 2-1 or something like that, and he was 1 round up. Then the fraud came out. But normally, especially against Latte, wasn't too much fraud. It was all real, all legit, and I kind of wanted to talk about the May matchup in general and just like why I think she might actually. I put her low tier in my first initial assessment after labbing her, but seeing good May players in practice, and this is why I didn't release my tier list, because I also realized that I need to watch enough tournaments before I give my opinion. You know what I mean?
Sure, sure.
Um, like knowing what you could do in the lab is one thing, but then people can apply things differently that make you rethink where the character is. So it's more so in the application of these things. So once I saw Hyperhiko, and I also um, keep hearing about what people are saying, and then I put kind of two and two together, I kind of started to realize like, and here's something a lot of people don't understand about May. And Rufamonger, bless his soul, I love Rufamonger. He actually posted a video, and I'll put the link in the chat for you guys. Rufamonger posted a video actually explaining the exact same thing that I found in the lab, but in a much nicer video formatted way with titles and stuff. But
Oh
it's
yeah.
literally the same. He's literally saying the same thing. So basically, S Dolphin is minus, but it's kind of sorta not really your turn. It's weird.
Oh.
It's minus enough that she should not be able to do anything after it, but for some reason she can, because I think the dolphin has mad pushback. So most characters will not be able to force her to block. They won't be able to stop her from backdashing. They won't be able to stop her from jumping. You won't be able to stop her from doing another S Dolphin unless you preemptively 6P. But then there's layers to that because then she can delay the next Dolphin slightly to punish
Oh
your
yeah.
button. She can backdash and then do heavy Dolphin and punish your button. She can jump. She can like she can, it's literally, and the way I started thinking about it, and played against Celestial Floor May, and I think it went like 3-5 his way. So I'm getting slightly better at the matchup because before it was like
Mm,
10-0, you know.
yeah.
um, I started realizing that it's still her turn. You have to
Yeah.
treat it that way. You have to. And I think that's what makes May such a strong character right now. And even Roofermonger said, the vertical dolphin, nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about the seal, that hits the ball. Nobody cares about any of that
Yeah.
stuff. It's all about the vertical dolphin. It's all about the horizontal dolphins. That's the
Yeah.
whole thing with May. And that makes her super powerful because she could do a block string, end it in S dolphin, and it's still her turn. As if she's
Oh yeah.
plus, by the way.
Yeah.
You might as well just treat it as if she's plus. Like,
Yeah.
because even if you throw a button out, she can do the heavy dolphin and punish your button. I mean, it's like she has so many options and you don't have any options. If you're playing a character who doesn't have the range to force her to block in that situation. So
Yeah.
like,
Exactly.
I'm playing Kai, right? Like Kai,
Mm,
in this video, he's using Kai. And he's showing that even Kai can't check her. You know,
true that.
he can throw out a button preemptively to stop, like I said, another dolphin from coming in. But that's about it. If she chooses to jump, backdash, whatever, like Kai's getting punished for
Oh
throwing a
yeah.
button out. So it's like it's really weird. It's really weird how and this is kind of going back to what I was saying about the accessibility. I think May is a highly accessible character for that exact reason because it allows the casual player to stay on offense.
Yeah.
You know, and it allows. But see, this goes back to what the creator of Rivals of Ether said. Pro
Mm,
players are gonna look at me and say, "Oh, I get extra turns. Let me abuse
yeah.
that." You know?
This kind of reminds me of a situation. Have you heard about the Ryu versus Guile matchup,
Yeah.
so to say, in Street Fighter?
Hmm.
Whereas they both have projectiles, but they have two different input methods. Ryu can spam them because it's a quarter circle forward motion.
Hmm.
Guile players has to wait, hold back, charge, hold back, and then press forward and time it right.
Hmm.
The thing that they get is that the Guile's recovery is much shorter, while Ryu's is a lot longer, for instance.
Hmm.
And that's something the situation is here. Like May's Dolphin was actually chargebacks, and
Hmm.
then it was actually some rewards to it. You actually have to stay blocking, or you have to do it like mid combo or your strings and stuff like that. But here they changed it up to a quarter circle motion instead. So this is creating that problem. Whereas she still has the same properties as to say she can just do the quarter circle forward constantly
Hmm.
with the Dolphins. That's what creates this so to say like still returns
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, and also
So
that's crazy because this is kind of
mm,
like you said, it's like a reverse because
yeah,
Kai is basically the Ryu. I should be able to throw more projectiles and stop her from doing charge motions, but Guilty Gear they flipped it
exactly,
because my
exactly.
projectiles are Garbo. It's trying, Kai projectiles are ass. They are the worst they've ever been,
Yeah, yeah.
and
And I think that's the best thing I would say. Like if they were to fix the dolphin, it's just like
mhm.
just knock down. Just if you get hit by the dolphin, you get pushed back or something like that. It's just like it doesn't get into a wall bounce or anything like that unless it's the heavy version.
Or your
But somehow
RC
it's
or
just it
whatever.
knocks you down, so you can't like continue that combo afterward. The dolphin.
I think knockdown would be even bigger reward because then she gets the Oki off of it, and she does have
Ah, that's
something
true.
that's like
That's
plus
true.
30 on block. Yeah, but Sasu, you're absolutely correct. And even if you try to backdash, which beats pretty much every option May could do except another S Dolphin. And what's the
Mm,
likeliest thing another May is gonna do? Another S Dolphin. So even
yeah,
backdash, which means 99% of her options, still loses to the easiest possible option you could do, and the
mhm,
safest option for May to do, which would be just another fucking Dolphin. So you're
yeah,
you're right, and that's why I said like what I started realizing is that you got to pay attention to the way the player is playing May, and you
yeah.
gotta you gotta snipe their habits. So like, and then we got to talk about May's jump ins, which are also extremely good. Like you cannot air to air May. Like air to airing
No,
May, you have to do that preemptively. Like a lot of with May stuff, you gotta make a hard read on her. Like you got to make a hard read and shut her down. So like for example, when I was playing against the Celestial level May Hazmat, or El Snake Pit as he's known in Twitch chat.
Mhm.
Um, Basically, I after every S Dolphin, I literally had to do that meme with the lady and the math equations flying around. That was literally
Oh
my
yeah.
brain. After every S Dolphin, that was my brain. I'm literally like calculating stuff. I'm looking. I'm like hyper focused on the screen because I need to react right now to the
Yeah.
next thing that she does, and she could do anything. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I gotta be ready to anti-air. I gotta be ready to air to air. I gotta be ready to 6P another dolphin. I gotta be ready to do anything on reaction, and
Yeah.
that's the matchup. Unfortunately, currently as of right now, unless they change it in the future, that's the main matchup. You
Yeah.
know, and it's kind of like what you said, where like she's a charge character, so technically, by fighting game logic, she should not be able to throw out so many dolphins because she's a charge
Exactly.
character. But Guilty Gear says, "Fuck all that shit. Charge time is like nothing." You can literally
Precisely.
charge in the middle of another dolphin, so you can literally just do dolphin, 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 dolphin. Like they don't care. It's literally like you're playing Blanca on crack. If you could
Oh,
just constantly do Blanca ball, and it was safe. You know.
it's block safe, but so you can cancel it to anything, and then if you have enough tension, you can roam and cancel just to throw another dolphin.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, May is a menace. But like I said, it's still too early to call tiers right now.
Yeah.
But
Right. And the best thing you can do is just like predict matchup charts right now. Otherwise, stating like tier list is just like, yeah, it tells you a little bit, but matchup charts kind of tells more for me at least.
yeah, exactly. I think May is one of Kai's worst matchups currently. Um, like I said, we're working on the matchup. Even Nightmare Effects say he lost to Hyperhiko 3-0 actually for the same reason. He was like, that S Dolphin, man. He said that just completely 3-0'd me. you know, just knocked him out the tournament. And he actually said as soon as he was done with the tournament, he went straight to the lab and tried to figure it out. Went to the he said, then he asked me for a bunch of tech. Went to the Discord, looked at some of the tech that I had put there, and he was like, and then he played a VIP level May for like a long set that I did actually stick around to watch, and it was very good. He started to get the matchup, like it was pretty even, you know. I think he
Oh, cool,
won.
cool.
I think he won more overall than he lost, but yeah, it was close. It was tight because, like I said, one bad read and May just starts to roll you from there. You know.
Oh yeah. Which was the surprising thing that happened yesterday with Lotte Lyon, a very powerful and good Potemkin player. He was struggling to go against Tico's May player, or yeah, May, and that was something that caught us off guard because that threw him off the tournament before he even got the chance to reach the top.
Yeah,
And that
exactly.
is something that also might be something for him to pick up on. It's just like, okay,
And the funny
let's see
thing
what
is
hell
that,
happened.
and the funny thing about it is that Hiko kept it all the way real with him too. There was no fraud. There was no like Latte. Whatever was fraud, Latte hard punished it. You
Mm,
know, like
exactly.
whenever Latte made the hard read, it was spectacular. But you know,
Yeah.
the footsies, like you take a good player and you take what I just said about May keeping her turn, and then you having to make a hard read and May having a million options, and you put a good player in that situation, he really abused that. Like he would do S Dolphin and then he would maybe backdash, or he would do S Dolphin IED RC mix up, or he would do three K after to sweep in case like always a mix up after S Dolphin every time. So that was pretty crazy.
It was crazy.
Other than that, we did have the tournament last night as well, and I do have to say Satsu played excellent. You know,
It was an amazing showmanship of the ship gameplay. It was full of surprises, quick adjustments, and really coordinated reads at times. So to say, a lot of pressure, but it was
is
also
this what?
reactive
Oh
to
my god, he got.
the
I took
opponents.
I took a clip of this crate, one of the many clutches that Satsu made
Oh yeah,
last night that you guys can watch right over here with next to Ponteronten. Yeah, you know. So basically, Latte landed a huge counter hit into a Potemkin Buster. Literally did about 90% of his life,
Oh yeah,
or whatever life he had left. This man lived with 1 HP.
oh yeah,
Literally a pixel. Makes the comeback, hard read, so basically goes into Rekka, RCs it, and then goes into immediate instant air dive kick, which, like, who does that? You know,
yeah.
like I didn't even see that. I didn't even. I would definitely would have got hit because I thought he was gonna. Like, I think Latte looked like he was ready to block for an Alpha Blade. You know, the horizontal one or the one that goes up. Like Latte looked like he was ready to do something. You know about
Absolutely.
that, but he did not expect instant dive kick. You know.
Exactly, and that was something that caught that was surprising to every one of us actually when we saw him do that. It was just like, wait, that was a very big risk, so to say, because the recovery is
Is
scary.
yeah, yeah. If that didn't hit, Satsu basically put it all on the line right there. Like, because if that didn't hit, he would have died. That would have been a hard punish because
Absolutely.
Latte jumped to air throw because he probably thought he was going to do like what a lot of people don't know is when Chipp tries to do the up Alpha Blade, you can literally just air throw him right out of it. You know.
Oh yeah,
And that beats a lot of Chipp's air options, actually. Like a lot of his Alpha Blade stuff, air Alpha Blade stuff, and all that stuff. But yeah, you can see Latte jump, and it looked like he tried to go for the air throw right there.
mhm.
You know,
The
so that was
strike just managed to hit him just as he was about to whiff, so to say, but it hit it just at the right moment.
exactly. So, definitely big ups to Satsu. Some of the best Strive gameplay I've personally seen so far. Myself.
Absolutely.
So, other than that, what's the next news? We got some Street Fighter Five news here. The Topanga Championship 3 early results. So, do you know about the Topanga Championship?
I sadly am not actually. It's kind of new to me.
Well, the Topanga Championship is probably some of the highest level Street Fighter outside of like
Ooh,
Capcom
okay.
Cup. It's kind of like a Japanese thing. Like I don't know what they like. I don't know where it came from, but I do know they've been doing it for a long time, and I have been watching it because even though I don't like play Street Fighter too much, I was playing it leading up to Strive, but I do keep
Mm,
up with it quite a bit. Like I keep up with all the tournaments. I watch all the top eights and all the other stuff. So
right, right.
the Topanga Championship is always so good to watch. Like if you're a fighting game fan and you like excellent neutral hard reads, clutch plays, some of the best footsies and all that stuff, definitely check out the Topanga Championship. So first, I think the Topanga Championship is going on for a few days. So it started on the 14th and it's going until July 7th, and
Oh,
that's when the
right, right.
finals are. So basically, it's like a big round robin type tournament that happens over many rounds, until we get, and then they earn points. And then once you have a certain number of points, then those people play it out like in a top eight type thing.
Ah, right, right.
So,
Yeah,
and then the winners get money.
yeah.
So basically, let me see. Group stage A, Higuchi with Guile went 4-2 that day. Oh, that's pretty nice. Mago 4-2 as well. Yeah. So one thing that's really great about Mago, and just a little backstory on people who don't know about Mago. He's like one of the OG Street Fighter players from back in the day.
Ooh,
You
yeah.
know, Daigo era, Daigo, Tokido, Mago. They're all known. But see, the thing about Mago is that his win record has been kind of shaky over the years. So like
Mhm.
he'll do like they used to call him September Mago, where like he would literally lose tournaments or not make top eight all year until September. And then for
Ooh,
some reason, when September hits, he just becomes a god and just wins everything. You know?
oh man.
Like literally
Damn.
everything. Like literally
Hmm.
everything. Like it's not like he wins one, lose no. Like he win. You know?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
and that was like that for years. And this year he won the Capcom Cup in February.
Ooh,
He won one of the Capcom Cup qualifiers in like
yeah.
February or January or whatever. And
Man.
and people were like, "Hey, so you're not September Mago no more?" And he said, "Nah, no more September Mago. It's all year Mago now."
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
he's like, "It's
Good
all."
adjustment.
Yeah, he's like, it's forever Mago now. Like it's no more, no more September Mago. He said, "I resent that," you know. So we
Good,
also
good stuff.
we also got Evo champ Namen 2 and 4 actually. losing record. So Nauman has been really good, but a lot of people have been starting to catch up to him because they've been labbing the Sakura matchup. Sakura's kind of busting in Street Fighter V, by the way. She's kind of like Mei, where she does like stuff that looks like it should be unsafe, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's still her turn, and then she gets like infinite options afterwards. It's literally the same. Now that I think about it,
Oh
like
yeah.
she could do Tatsu, which for most Shotos is minus on block. It's either safe or it's plus for her for some
Mhm.
fucking reason. So then she gets a 50-50 after, you know, like throw strike. So
Oh
like
yeah.
like she could just do random Tatsu and neutral. If you fuck around and block it, it's GG's. Like just guess.
Oh
And then she also
man.
her stand light kick hits like halfway across the street. She just sticks her foot out, but the hitbox is so big that it can
Oh
literally
no.
clip you. It can literally clip you in neutral distance, and then she can confirm it into a DP or a full combo or super or whatever.
Oh man.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous. Like it's actually crazy. So yeah, Namen Evo champ, and he's currently having a bad time at Topanga. He's -6.
Oh yeah.
He's -6
Exactly.
right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's 9-15. So that's not good.
No, no, no. It also says a little bit about the character as well, because right now he's relied on Sakura and Ken, which has been now for a while. So I suspect, like many people, many of these topper players have just been like, all right, I know what I can and cannot do against this matchup, and
And,
then from there
and
they
plus,
I'm done.
people have probably been studying him quite a bit too, because there was a time
Yeah.
like for a year where he was just winning everything.
Mhm.
He was just winning
Exactly.
so much all over the place, and people couldn't beat him. And it seems like now they got his number, so he's gonna have to make that fat adjustment. And then we got group
Oh
stage
yeah.
block B, Gachi-kun at of course Gachi-kun the goat going 5-1 with Rashid. Yeah, Gachi-kun is Capcom Cup champ, Evo champ. You
Mhm.
know, one of the
Exactly.
best Street Fighter players out there. Daigo going
Yeah.
2-4 actually.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Which is understandable because he has been like a little bit under
yeah, he had
boring
COVID, right?
circumstances right now with the little small surprise that has caught his throat, and that was very unfortunate to see that happen because many people were in support as well. But we will hope for his recovery, both mentally and physically, and also being ready to pick up the pieces and showing himself who's the beast is around here.
Yeah, exactly. No, see, Daigo's already like qualified for Capcom Cup, so he's like
Yeah,
he's good. He's chilling, you know.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, yo,
He's just like,
these are practice tournaments. I'm fine. Leave me alone.
oh yeah, this was just a warm up. Now I will reveal my true form.
Now Sako definitely wanted to like once again Street Fighter boomer. Super
Mhm.
good. Super good at like Kage. You already guys know that I'm a part of Team Kage, Drip Kage. Whenever I play Street Fighter, I play Kage. So there you go. But Sako doesn't play Kage in tournament because Kage is kind of shit. So
Oh,
unfortunately,
it's
you
that
know,
guilty pleasure that is just like I love to play this character, but I can't rely on them 100%.
yeah, exactly. He's not a reliable character. Like there's a lot of different ways to beat him. He has to work very hard. He's got baby arms. Like if they just buff like they started going in the right direction by buffing his hitboxes a little bit. If they just buffed him a little bit more to make it so that like he doesn't like have baby arms, then he would actually be probably S tier because that's really his big problem. He can't check anything. You know, like he can't check anything. Like you could literally do the most unsafe thing in his face, and
Yeah.
if you're not like literally like this close to him, he can't do anything about it.
Oh,
So yeah, but he does play Manat in tournament. His Manat is literally the best Manat I've ever seen. Like he's doing all
okay.
the like Manat is highly technical. Like her combos are really hard, um,
Mhm.
very like tight. Very frame tight, type
Yeah.
stuff. Links. So he went 3-3. So he's only -1 so far.
Yeah.
So that's not too bad. Sako has a hard time in tournament though, like especially against like the really like, I would say there's the god level players and then there's the elite god level players.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Machabo, who is one of my favorite players, period, he plays Kai. He's part of the Kai Supremacy in Guilty Gear.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Nice.
But he also
Gotta
plays
stand up for your fellow man.
Yeah, but he also plays Street Fighter. He's been going hard in Street Fighter. He dropped Guilty Gear because apparently there was no money in Guilty Gear at the time. You know,
Yeah.
so now he plays Street Fighter because apparently Street Fighter has a stupid amount of money involved. So there you go.
Oh,
You know,
yeah, definitely.
yeah. So
I mean, it was. It reminds me of a little something. They actually streamed Street Fighter once on the ESPN, and a lot of people took it to Twitter. It's like, why is you playing a video game? This is for sports, not this nerd nonsense. And then they come back about 10, 15 minutes later. It's like, oh, this is fairly interesting. Man,
yeah,
gets me really excited and hyped up. And it's just like,
yeah, I'm
all
telling
right.
you. But surprise here also is Bonchan, Capcom Cup Evo champ, 9 and
Yeah,
14, -5 so far in
yeah.
Topanga. So yeah, definitely go check out the Topanga Championship. I myself need to go back and watch the day 1, day 2 VODs, but it's literally some of the best Street Fighter you'll see outside of like Evo Capcom Cup. You know,
Yeah.
especially it's all Japan. You know, and you know the Japanese, they're fucking tryhards, man. Like
Oh, yeah.
they live this shit. Like we play video games, but like
Mhm.
I've seen people who are already level 1,000 in Guilty Gear Strive or like
Oh,
2,000.
yeah.
I'm like, and they're from
Yeah.
Japan. I'm like, how? There's not enough hours in the day. Like, like how do you have that
Maybe
much experience already? Are you like
that's a good
not
question.
bathing? Are you like not bathing? Like, like I'm
Would
literally.
you? Do they also eat? Like,
Yeah,
how do you eat?
do you eat? Do you have a woman? Like, what's going on, bro? Like, talk to me. How do you have so much time? I don't like. I literally do nothing but like stream and play video games, and I don't even have that kind of time. You know, it's like this is all I do, and I don't have that kind of time. Where do
Yeah,
they find this kind of time? Like,
true question. True question. Might as well took it quick in and Bloxy. Actually, Tokido coming up with +10
yeah, for
with
real,
5-1
15.
with Yuri, and even that's amazing
Oh
to see
yeah,
that.
yeah. He kind of dropped Akuma because I think too many people like Tokido's been playing Akuma for like what 20 years now.
Yeah,
People got the read on him on Akuma. Like he
yeah,
started losing. He was winning a lot at first when Street Fighter Five first came out, but then people started getting the hard read on him, man. Like and
yeah,
it wasn't him playing bad either. Like people just started knowing how to play against him. They started knowing his
yeah,
habits, his stuff. So now you switched over to Urian, and he's just been popping off ever since. And Urian is super duper strong in Street Fighter Five, by the way.
yeah,
Very
yeah,
strong. He's got everything you want in a character. Like in a game where neutral and footsies is important, like he can check everything. He's got super long normals. They go damn near half the screen. He's got a safe, dash punch, the chariot tackle, safe on block. A lot of his stuff is safe. Actually, he can do headbutts. You know, the low crush you. Like, I mean, he's just got options, and not to mention when he goes V trigger, the Aegis reflector, and you get all those crazy combos. And also, he's got stupid damage, and he's a charge character, believe it or not. You know.
Mhm.
So there you go. Itabashi Zangief, he's also been coming up. So I feel like a year or 2 years ago, Itabashi Zangief was always making top 8, but never really scoring too high. But he's been
Mm.
very consistent with getting top 8 very regularly. But lately, he's been getting like top 1, top 2, top 3, top 4. Like the results have definitely been improving for Itabashi Zangief.
Absolutely.
And he only plays
Especially,
grapplers, by the way. Only
yeah.
grapplers. Zangief,
Only
Abigail.
Abigail and Zangief actually here in the character selection from those charts, and that's really amazing to see when you actually have like grapplers reaching up as well and getting to the higher parts of the top.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind
So
of like when I was playing Street Fighter, I kept telling people, I said, I don't understand why Zangief is so low on the tier list. Have you guys not seen Itabashi? You know? Like, Itabashi is pretty much the fab of, like, Street Fighter. He takes a grappler and
yeah,
just makes them look absolutely disgustingly broken. You know? It's like, because they're willing to, like, I guess to play a grappler, you have to have a certain, like, mindset. You know, you gotta understand that your life bar is kind of your resource, and you don't really mind taking damage because you only need like 2 good hits. You know,
yeah, yeah.
you only need
True
two
that.
like clean good hits, and they are done. You know, so they can do all this fancy shit all day. You know, supers and flipping around and doing all this stuff, but once you catch them, it's you know,
It's done. It's over. You
it's
got
over
too
with.
close.
Yep, you just die. So there you go. You want to talk about the Guilty Gear Strive patch notes?
Sure. So earlier this week, there was actually an update patch coming out, which was 1.03, which was its main goal was that it has the following: fix an issue with the search ID function in a player match rooms where it's not working properly, as well as fix an issue where the game crashes occasionally when using the text chat function. They also amended the default setting in the display settings so it will reflect correctly, and they also made a graphical update where they reduced the graphical load for the stage Lunora di Illyria, which was Kai's level, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
And they also fixed an issue with the Verde Wii sync was not working as intended, and they also fixed an issue where the replay selected in the replay theater would not play back the correct selection. And that was kind of hilarious because it was actually from a tweet someone made. It was just like, "Oh, I want to take that match. Oh, that looks interesting." And here, oh, it's a Faust versus Potemkin. That was great. And then it starts loading up a replay where it was a May versus a Chipp instead. It was just like, hold up,
That's
this
weird.
is something, right?
That's hilarious. Well,
Yeah.
here's the funny
So
thing. You want to hear the funny story? So remember when I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna test the whatchamacallits, the
player
lobbies,
lobbies.
yeah, and I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
see if they work or whatever, you know." And basically, we tested them, played like a whole day. We played like a whole day. Everything was fine. Like hours in the lobbies, it worked. The next day, I test the lobbies again. We spectate. We run the King of the Hill. Everything works fine. We do the tournament. Lobbies don't work.
Yep.
We do the tournament. Lobbies don't work. Dual station. Well, we were able to get the search ID function, but when it came to using the cabs didn't work for some reason.
Yeah.
And we had people from all over, and I literally made sure that we filled the room with people from all different regions just to make sure like there was no issue. It's so weird, man. Like the lobbies, they just work when they want to work, and then they don't work when they don't want to work. Like it's crazy. But
That was
at least we can now find our rooms. So
That's true. So it's a good. We have got a first good start on the whole thing, so to say. So the next update might actually fix the setup, start a match, so to say, because the issues that we had during the open beta were existing here in the player lobby. So it's just like, hey, just take the solutions you managed to do with like the tower and the park thing, and put it in the player lobbies, and I think we'll be fine then.
yeah, exactly. So graphics update. I never had an issue with Kai stage actually, but I will say that there was some times when my games would freeze on that stage. So maybe that was that issue, and someone did tell me that they were having VSync issues as well. So
Oh,
I'm glad that
right, right.
that's been fixed as well.
Yeah, very nice.
So yeah, it's so yeah, we got some updates on PC.
Yeah,
Hallelujah. Well, PC and PlayStation actually.
yeah, yeah.
PlayStation lobbies seem to work fine though. So I guess for a majority of the player base, this is not an issue. It's just for us, small, smooth brain PC players. But
Mm,
I do play on both, but I prefer to play on PC.
yeah, yeah,
I did double dip. I have the game on both, but
yeah. That's good.
you know, but
Sets the message out to them that Strive is a good game. Just so you know.
yeah. So anyway, what other news we got? Let's see. We got
Well, there was.
we got
So if we want to keep going with Strive, we can actually talk about the interview that they had, which was
ah
from a Japanese magazine, from 4Gamer, which where the directors wanted to share the joys of Golden Age arcade culture with modern players through the portal of powerful netcode, which was a very interesting article that they actually interviewed them with. It was thanks to Nick Maijin Tenshi Shin Han Taylor, who actually translated this interview with both Ishibatari and
mhm
Katano.
mhm
And it was very fascinating to see their perspective of the whole thing. Whereas, like, yeah, we want you to actually have a good experience playing this fighting game because if you're going to have a delay while you try to understand and pick up the game, it might be very boring for you, especially when
mhm
you have a bad connection.
exactly. So like
So
the thing that I like about this, and I do feel like the good netcode is enabling. So like I'll tell you this from my perspective, right?
mm,
Since Strive came out, I feel like I gained like at least like 300 new followers, 200 Discord members, like 150 Twitter followers or whatever. I can
yeah,
see like because people are able to play without having to worry about if the game is going to function or not. Um, and the fact that we could keep running it back. Like it's
Mhm.
so easy to just, and I think that is the arcade feel that they're talking about. Like, because in the arcade, that is what it is, right? There's no obstruction
Yeah,
to play. You come in, you sit down, you play, you know, and then you rematch.
exactly.
That's kind of how Guilty Gear is. It's like you boot up the game, you go to a lobby, and you just play, you
Yeah,
know, or you click player, or you just click find me a game, and then you just play, you know.
absolutely.
Um, I think that is kind of like what they mean. And then because the netcode, you can play with anyone, anywhere, just about. Like I say, just about, quote unquote. Um, it is it, and the fact that you can run it back, it does give it that arcade feel. Because in the arcade, what do? Okay, no, run that shit back. Okay, run it back,
Yeah,
run it back, run it back, run
yeah.
it back, run it back. You know?
One more time. One more time.
Yeah, one more time is like 5 hours later. You're both sitting there, sweaty and just like hands shivering over the fight stick.
Uh,
Your hands are dead over the fight stick.
you actually, like they will actually do an interview or like a press conference, which is like, what were the inspirations for you to like have the game so addictive? It's like, oh, one of our inspirations were the Sid Meier's Civilizations games. We just wanted to have the player just instead of going one more turn to be like one more match.
Yeah, exactly. No, for real, it's crazy. And
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure we've all experienced it playing Strive, where it's literally like even me, like I'll be like, nah, run that. Even if I lose, I'll be like, nah, run that back. Nah, run that back. And then I even told people on stream, I said, now I understand how those Guilty Gear players in the arcade, when I watch like Mikado footage of Rev 2 or Plus R from like a couple years ago on the Mikado channel. I understand how they have like 50,000 games, 30,000 games. Like I saw, what's his face? Ogawa had like 50,000 games at Mikado or some shit, like
yeah,
on
yeah.
his record. Like they have a stupid amount of games, and it makes sense because they literally just sit there and just run it back constantly. You
Yeah,
know, and that is how Strive is. Strive is just like that. It's just constantly running it back. You know.
absolutely.
So the gameplay loop is very good, and I guess that's what they wanted to do, and they wanted to make sure that the netcode did not get in the way of that.
Yeah, yeah.
So there you go. So I think what else we got with this? Let me see. That's it. So let's see, bro. Back. This goes for all fighting game events too. The community feeling and culture that those of us who put our heart and soul into fighting games back in the day, I'm sure we all have very good memories of it, but the new generations don't know it. We want to spread this deep charm of fighting games in a new form. So this goes back to the community aspect, right?
Yeah,
There,
absolutely.
there's a big community being built. Like everyone's kind of like everything's kind of in flux. Everybody's gravitating to their influencer of choice or whatever. But one thing I have noticed is that I'm kind of, even me, like I'm developing a community that might even be as bigger than the Mortal Kombat community. I thought about the Mortal Kombat community. I had like 700, total tournament players for it or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, nearly most of my Discord server is like Mortal Kombat players, but I feel like Guilty Gear is going to have an even bigger community than that because there's so many people that are being introduced to it to the first time. And like I said, we already talked about this earlier, but the way the game is designed, they kind of want to push it. It makes you want to follow that carrot to the higher
Yeah.
level mechanics. So like there's always, and the game is so deep that even though I labbed everything, I still feel like there's a lot of stuff I don't know. Like I found out about FD canceling your air dashes. Apparently you can completely stop your air momentum in the air by FD canceling your air dash.
Oh yeah.
And then that leads to some super broke setups for like Kai. And I'm pretty sure if Kai can do it, then everybody can do it. You know?
Yeah.
So like even though I labbed the whole game, I'm like I still feel like I just scratched the surface of the advance. I feel like I just scratched the surface, which means that even though I found a lot of tech, there's even more tech, and then there's going to be more people coming into the community looking for more tech.
Mm,
Looking for more
exactly.
like stuff. And not to mention like future balance changes and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Indeed.
I feel like that the way the game is designed is such a good way. Like I said, from the rank system separating the community on skill tiers.
Mm,
And I do feel like those skill tiers are very accurate as well.
mm.
Like they're super accurate because like you can definitely see the way each level plays, because when you're on a floor they play a certain way, then when you get on another floor you might
Yeah.
lose the first game because you're like, oh, they're playing like this on this floor, and then everyone you
Mm.
play on that floor from that point forward plays that way, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like that with me. Like I went from the sixth floor, I was like, okay, they're playing this way. I played one game, won it, got to the seventh floor. Seventh floor, I was like, oh, they're doing a little bit of this now. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Eighth floor, oh, now they're adding this on top of it. Ninth
Mm.
floor, okay, now they're trying to actually try to play some footsies a little bit, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Tenth floor,
And then
no, tenth
yeah.
floor. Oh, these motherfuckers are just mashing. All right, so
Oh yeah, these that's true. I actually managed to get to Celestial. It was like my opponent was just like, how do you fight Faust? What's the matchup? Why the fuck can he throw items all the time? It's just like, this is stupid. Why do you play Faust? He's overpowered. What? Bruh, have you seen my hurt boxes?
Yeah, for real. No, it's like 10th floor. I don't know what it is about 10th floor. They just be hard mashing. Like I literally fought
Oh
some
yeah.
people, and I'm like, oh, you telling me you got the 10th floor about just mashing Bandit Bringer, dog? Like I kept anti-air, like he just kept doing Bandit Bringer over and over, no matter how many times I anti-aired him, he just kept doing. I'm like, oh, so that's how you got here. And then I fought another
Yep.
soul right after that who just kept doing Grand Viper the whole game. No matter how many times I punished him, he just kept doing it. And I'm like, so you got here by just randomly doing Grand Viper. I see. Okay, got it. Got it. Understood. All right. But,
Have fun in this level 10 limbo.
yeah, for real, But the great thing about, like I said, is that when I am playing, there's so many people watching, asking questions, joining the community. People been coming in saying, "Oh my God, a Kai player, great. I want to see what Kai could do." You know, the Guilty Gear community is definitely coalescing around like who they like. I can see a lot of people coalescing around like Fame for his Nago, him showing how strong Nago Ryuki can actually be. You know, like a lot of people wrote Nago off, but then you got players who show why Nago's great. I remember I hosted what's his name, D Smooth. What's his boy, G Yuna's boy in Japan, Bobby or whatever.
Yeah.
I told him I was labbing every character in the game versus Kai, and he said, "Oh, you main Kai? Good luck. Kai is kind of booty, and he's playing Mei.
Oh. Oh.
And I'm like,
at Mr. Fancy Pants over there.
yeah, I'm like, well, number one, Kai's not booty. Like, you just because you haven't played a person who plays Kai well doesn't mean that Kai's not booty. It's the same reason that everyone said Nago was booty until Fame came out and was like, hey, this is actually how you play Nago. You don't just be an idiot and get blood rage every 5 seconds, Kai supremacy isn't real. Red Wonder, I swear to God, every day he comes to my stream says Kai supremacy is not real. I've been bounced between floor 6 and 7. That would be fine, except for the game freezes on PC when it moves you up. Rip.
Oh, rip, man.
Yeah, the game freezes sometimes, but yeah. Other than that, I do believe that it does give a very accurate arcade experience at home because like the game is so addictive that people just show up and there's always someone to play. You can hop in voice chat, you could play, have your banter, you could just run a whole bunch of games. You don't got to say nothing. Streamers are playing this game for like 10. I've seen almost every streamer play this game minimum like 10 hours, including myself. Like I was watching Nightmare Effect. I came into a stream. I was like 15 hours, dog. Like he's literally he was grinding for Celestial for 15 hours. Finally got VIP though. I think he did get VIP eventually.
Oh, nice.
So, but yeah, 15 hours. He said he was grinding for that. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Who else? Shin Kinsu, I hosted him one time, and he was like half asleep in his chair, labbing Chipp, 13 and a half hours in. I'm like, bro.
Calm down. It's a video game. It's exciting, but goddamn, dude, it's starting to make you look like a heroin addict. It's just like, I got some more around the corner. Let me just do it before I go to bed.
Yeah, no, for real. And it's like, who else? I think NYC Furby one time I saw he did like 7 hours or something, which is like pretty rare for him. He normally does like shorter streams and tournaments and stuff. So I was kind of like, Jesus Christ, man, people are putting hours into this. Like it's well, I guess we asked earlier, where do these level 1000 Japanese VIP players come from?
Exactly.
There
they
we go.
spent hours on the streams just going ham with tech and then fighting every match they get, whether they win or lose.
Yeah, seriously, like I mean, it even makes me because it's like I'm able to play. I'm able to put those kind of hours in maybe like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, maybe Friday. You know, that's kind of
Yeah,
it. You know, and even then, I'm really only putting those kind of hours in like maybe Monday and Tuesday, realistically,
yeah, yeah.
because then I'm doing like tournament stuff or other stuff the rest of the week. So I kind of feel like I'm like missing out. It's like, man, I need to like know life this game a little bit more. I might have to cancel more tournaments. but
Oh no.
yeah, I might have to do less tournaments. You know, I might have to do less tournaments so I could maybe y'all need like one or two less tournaments a week. You know, so I could grind to get
Uh,
celestial. You know.
oh boy.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I just won't do YouTube for like a couple of weeks. Who knows? You know. Fuck it. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but I did put in about 10. I did commit most of last week to like 10 hour a day
mm,
lab stream. So yeah, I
yeah,
did
yeah,
I did do it that way. But
yeah.
yeah, other than that, how do you think the arcade culture is represented in Strive?
I think they're doing it well right now, but because even though you can only write and talk smack and show your scrubby saltness via text chat
Hmm.
right now in the rank tower and the park, it would be nice to just hang out with people and then just hop into Discord. Just like, hey man, let's duke it out. Because then you can get like you can be the giggling little jerk that is just like gets all the W's while your opponent just like goes like, this is stupid. Why does he do that? How come I would do an anti-air? Why did you manage to block that? That's stupid. And then you sit in the back and like
Yeah, or like I liked the what I did with Ramirez yesterday, where we
Mhm.
played a long set, and he asked me for some Kai experience, so I basically told him on the spot, like, and that is kind of an arcade thing to do. Like if you're next to your opponent and you guys are just running it back constantly, you could literally just talk in real time, be like, hey, you need to block this when I do this that
Yeah,
I'm doing to you right now. You need to do X. Like I kept telling him, like this is unsafe. You could punish this.
yeah,
Oh, this could be anti-air as I'm doing it on the spot.
yeah. Oh, really? A very good kind gesture, so to say, that we as streamers can also do it when we fight against other players who actually come into our streams and they also join the lobbies. It actually happened to me a few days ago when I played Xrd again, and I had like up 10, 11 viewers. A
Mhm.
lot of them were very curious and interested in learning about more about Xrd, and many of them actually hopped into the same cabinet and the line, the same cabin I was standing on, and then just like wanted to go against my Faust. And then I
Mhm.
said like, oh, you did good on that thing. You could have done this. Said, look out for that thing. Make sure to learn what items Faust can do and all that stuff. And people were very excited to see like more stuff coming in the future. So yeah, I still have my foot in the Xrd area, so you don't have to worry about that, chat.
Yeah, so there you go. So like that reminds me of I used to do that kind of thing in MK as well as I do it in GG. Like when I played against some people in GG, they would come to the chat and I would say, "Oh, you lost because of X, Y, and Z." I saw
Yeah.
you doing X, so I did Y. Funny story though, a guy came in my stream, gave me a small host during my Mortal Kombat days, and he asked me for first to five. So I gave him the first to five, and it was 5-0 for me.
Oh,
You know, but
damn.
and I played Jax against like fucking Jade and shit. That was like
Mm.
yikes, bro. He played Melina first, and then he went to Jade.
Mm.
Um, and those are Jax doesn't have that many good matchups anyway. So if Jax wins, like you did something wrong.
Yeah,
That's kind of
yeah.
like a known thing. Like if Jax actually ends up winning, you fucked up some kind of way.
Oh yeah.
So I proceeded to tell him how he fucked up. I said, you when you win or when you have the life lead, you don't run away with it. You keep trying to go forward. And I told him about this tech that he did, where basically I told him, I said, if we're full screen with in Jax and Jade, and she throws her air projectiles, I could just jump over both of them and then punish you. So I
Yeah.
maintained the full screen spacing. He threw, and I waited for that, and he threw the air projectiles. I jumped over both, and then I punished him. And he
Oh yeah.
said, he said, "Oh man, that was so lucky that my things missed." And I said, no, they didn't miss. That's tech. I jumped him, and he didn't believe me. He did not believe that that was something that you could do on reaction. And I kept saying, it's literally tech. Here's a Twitter video of me labbing it a couple weeks ago. and telling
Yeah.
my chat that this is a thing. You literally did that exact same thing, and I literally did this exact same thing that I did in training to you. That is literally tech. He said, "No, that's not tech. Fuck you. You just got lucky that my shit missed." You know.
You
And
can like imagine like how he watches the stream. He's just going, "Why?" Okay, it's like,
yeah,
no, 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 man, that was luck. That was
yeah,
lucky, man.
yeah. He was like, "No, that was just luck." So basically, he started getting nasty about it,
Exactly.
and then he asked me to do another first to five, and then I 5-0'd him again. So
Oh.
and then I banned him. And I literally told him, I said, it's literally tech, dude. I can do this shit every time. You do that thing, this is the counterplay to that thing. It's not you missing. You didn't miss. I didn't get lucky. It just the videos on my YouTube actually. It's hilarious. You know,
Okay, okay.
it's hilarious. You know. So anyway, that was weird. But normally, most people usually either take my advice or they listen to it or they say like, "Oh yeah, thank you for the advice. I'll take it under consideration." That happened as well with Street
Yeah.
Fighter. Like most of my Street Fighter followers are actually people I played in ranked or people who signed up for the tournament usually. And like the people I play in rank, I tell them like, "Oh, I won because you did X and I did Y," and then they would come into the lobby and they'd be like, "Oh, let's play," you know, demonstrate
Yeah.
it, you know, show me, you know. And then
Yeah.
they would like practice and then they would get better and then they would come to the tournament, you would see them getting better. And that's the thing that I like about the FGC is like when you get fighting game players who, you know, like you got the casual fighting game players who I also like to play with quite a bit because they're the ones that pull out the crazy shit, you know, the crazy
Yeah. Yeah.
strategies that never work, you know. But you know
Kind
work when they do it, you know.
of. And that actually reminds me a lot about people who wants to get better at the video game, so to say. I actually remember watching a video, I think it was regarding Team Fortress 2, which was called How It Feels to Play Sniper, where the guy who made it, he presents like there's two kinds of snipers, those that actually learn from their mistakes and ask for tips, and those that complain like, nah man, you were cheating, you were hacking. And that was
Yeah.
the same. It kind of reminded me of what you said just now with your story. It was just similar. Like some people being like, "Hey man, how did you manage to dodge that?" It was just like, "Oh, I practiced it, do it like this." And then it's like, "Oh, okay, thank you, man." And then
Hmm.
there's the other situation with that guy you managed to slam down in the face with 5 O's,
Yeah.
which he just is like, "Nah, man, that was luck." It was just like, no,
Nah,
"Come
that
on,
was
dude."
luck. Get out of here. You didn't mean to do
Yeah.
that shit. Yeah, Abyss says, I'm one of those people, Meta. Your channel's the reason I am who I am. Probably not as a whole human being, but as a fighting game player. Like, Abyss was definitely a casual player. I used to be able to beat him. I can't beat him in Mortal Kombat anymore. Like, ever. Like, there came a point where I legitimately have never beaten him from that point forward. You know,
Mhm.
like he has gotten so good at that game, and even in Strive, like I'm beating him now, but it's already getting to a point where he's starting to like there's certain interactions he's always winning in. You know, like
Oh,
I played Abyss, and I think the first time I played Abyss in Strive, it was like 10-0. Second time it was like 10-6. You know,
yeah.
and next time it's probably going to be like 10-0. You know,
Mm,
even in Street Fighter, it was also very quick when me and Abyss played Street Fighter for a short amount of time.
yeah.
I was beating him at first, and then it got to a point where I just couldn't beat him anymore. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how Abyss does it, but yeah, he gets to that point where I legitimately like it comes a point where a line is crossed, and I play him one day, and I just never win again. Legitimately
Oh.
never. And I'll tell you this is crazy because I can do that with Skid Marky. Like no matter how good Skid Marky gets, I can beat him at sometimes, you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But with Abyss, and
You're
also
done for.
speaking, yeah. But he said I have a secret tech called watching meta. Yeah, he knows all my tendencies too well, and he just hard reads everything I do. You know,
Mm.
but even Wasim, right? So you guys know Wasim. If you watch my YouTube channel, he won like many of the Mortal Kombat majors that I put on here. That I put on. He's also now a pro player. He got signed by Nasser Esports on my stream actually, and now he's playing Pro Comp Mortal Kombat, and he's also playing Strive. So and Tekken. This man is like a fucking fighting game prodigy. He's literally like mad
Oh,
good at everything. So basically, we played Strive, and I think I went 5-0 on Wasim, right?
oh.
And then Wasim literally said in voice chat, he said, "Okay, download complete."
Oh no.
Yeah, he literally said it was yesterday on yesterday's stream. He literally said download complete, and I said, yo, fuck out of here. We'll see you. Next, he literally went 8 games in a row after that.
Oh,
Before I won again, 8 games in a row.
damn.
Yeah, and then it ended up being like 10-8 for me. But yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. It was like he
Yeah.
literally said download complete. The chat was like, "Yo, he actually downloaded you." They're like, "Yo, he actually downloaded you, like for real."
Yeah.
Like that wasn't even a talk.
Very
Like
dangerous.
it actually happened.
True story. True story.
Yeah. So
But a good situation nonetheless, because might be more of the senseis for the moment. We just inspire people to become better at the game and then show the ropes at times.
yeah,
And that
definitely.
really makes you happy when people actually come up out of
Yeah.
nowhere and just like, hey, he was a shed member. He started off with nothing. I bashed his face in during the first few months, and then now here we are. He's currently on Evo, taking the first spot on Strive or
Yeah,
something
I
like
mean
that.
that's the job. That's the
Yeah,
plan.
man.
The plan is helping players go from casual. I play COD and fighting games on the weekend to
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's just, I
oh
used playing on a pad too. It's just like I realized I would play better with a hitbox or a fight stick, and
yeah,
now I
exactly.
purchased. And now I purchased a Quama Dragon.
Oh, and speaking of fight sticks, I want to show you guys something. Any of you guys
Oh
who've been
yeah.
watching my stream for a while, the Panthera is back in the building. I still have the Nikon Daisha, but this Panthera, I basically, all right. So long story short, I broke the USB cable, opened it up,
Oh.
tried to fix it, found out everything inside was glued down and soldered down, so nothing was
Oh man.
replaceable. Ripped everything. Basically, because I opened it up, I voided the warranty. So I ripped it all out, and
Oh,
it's been sitting in pieces in my closet for months
damn.
until and then over those months I learned more and more about fight sticks, and I realized, hey, I could just buy a PCB. I have mad buttons here. I have a box full of buttons and stuff, and went and bought a PCB, and there you go. you know there
Good
you
stuff,
go.
man.
Put it
I
together.
can actually I can actually show you something similar actually. This is a Hori Fight Commander
Ooh.
EX2 for the Xbox 360. It's
Mhm.
actually modified a little bit. It
Mhm.
actually there was something the similar problem to it,
Mhm.
whereas the PCB was actually glued alongside the backside of this frontier
Oh
and
wow.
with the buttons as well. So I had to desolder that whole thing, and then I actually had to fix the micro switches inside
Mhm.
the joystick as well because they started to rust.
Oh wow.
And I actually looked around a few videos on other people who actually modified them and work with it. And I found I forgot his name, but he was a very good creator and designer of some good fight sticks that he
Mhm.
sells on his website. And he described that if you got to modify this is like the gonorrhea of modifying this type of stick actually because it's very short.
Yeah.
So there's not much space for you to work with. So
Yeah.
I can't just take a Sanwa JBLF and then just put it in here. I actually have to work with this stick, make sure I make the switches round, and also if I hope that the quad gate restrictor is
Mhm.
actually still functional,
Oh
and then I
wow.
just bought a single new PCB and then new Sanwas and snappins, and then
Nice.
everything came into place.
All right. Well, I still have this. What's it called? Nikon Daisha. This is my PlayStation stick now. This was the one
Oh,
I was
cool.
using. This is the stick that I bought right after my razor broke because I didn't know about that I could just pay $10 and get a new PCB and fix it at the
Mhm.
time. So I went and just bought a whole nother fucking fight stick, like a bot,
Yeah,
you know. But
exactly. It's one of those problems.
and then I have this other one right here. Hold on a second that I am gonna fix. So people might know that I have used this when I was playing Street Fighter, but the problem is the buttons get stuck.
Oh,
So the buttons are kind of sticky. It's like a Chinese stick, and it's worse for
oh.
PlayStation and PC. But the problem is, I actually really like the stick quite a bit because this lever is like extra long. It's like twice
Oh,
as
right,
long
right.
as my other levers. So I actually kind of like, you see how far up it sticks.
Yeah.
I actually really like that. The
Oh, yeah.
problem though is these buttons. They when you press them too much, they get stuck. They like get stuck in, and then
Oh,
they get stuck in, and then they don't move. So like When
Yeah.
I was playing Street Fighter, I was wondering why buttons wasn't coming out, and then I looked at my input. I looked at my input thing that's underneath my webcam on my stream
Yeah.
most of the time, and I saw that one or two buttons were like still active while I'm trying to press other buttons, and that's when my character's sitting there like doing nothing.
That
So
ain't good.
and the problem of why I can't just replace the button is that the connectors on there are like super duper tight. I've tried to disconnect them, but no dice. So
Yeah.
basically, what I'm gonna have to do is just rip the cables out. Maybe replace the PCB because I have another
Yeah. Yeah.
PCB here.
Yeah.
So replace the PCB and maybe use and then replace the buttons and just replace it all except for the stick, basically.
Yeah.
So
Sounds like a good plan.
there you go.
Because I think like the most thing that you want to put on is like you have all the parts, you just want a good casing, and you really want a good casing that can hold a whole lot, so to say. This was the one that I currently use, which is a Venom Flash or Venom Fight Stick that you can only buy in Europe. It's kind of going from the
I
mold
was
of the
actually
main
thinking
Flash.
about getting one of those. Actually,
Mm.
that exact one. That's one of them.
Yeah.
That was one of the ones on my wish list, actually.
Yeah, yeah. The thing about it is that the buttons and the stick itself are kind of bad that you get from it. So it's better to modify it and buy new parts completely and replace them. Also put on a nice faceplate because the current one that they have it's nice looking, but I kind of wanted something more personalized. This is an old one that I was thinking about replacing because this is the old logo of them Fighting Hearts.
Yeah. Nice, nice. That's a nice stick. I always wanted one of those. But what's a
Yeah.
stick that you would love to get your hands on? There was a guy selling. For me, I want one of those TE2s. Like there was a guy selling his TE2s in France for like $50,
Mm.
and right when I had some money to buy it, he took them off.
Oh
I was
no.
like, God, I literally had the money in Bitcoin. It took me a while to like convert it and shit. And then
Ah.
once I had it all converted, I was like, okay, I'm ready to buy it. And he's like, I'm not selling them anymore. I'm like, what the? I'm like,
Come on now.
He had four T2s he was selling. I don't think he knew how much they were worth. He was
Yeah.
selling them for cheap.
Crazy.
I was like, God damn.
Then they were done.
Yeah, then they were
But
gone.
yeah, good stuff. I think if I were to like buy a stick somewhere, I wouldn't really buy from a big company store. I would actually have like a custom made one. I actually found a website called Blunderbuss Designs, and I was just like, yeah, I think I should go for that one because it has these cool forms, and they also had this type of acrylic design as well with the acrylic colors that you actually could say like, I want you to like encrust or rather print into the cover itself as well with this very nice cut, and that was something I felt like that's really cool. And also the enclosure is in metal, so it feels like it has more weight to it. So I feel like okay, I can mash if I have to, if it comes to the situation. And the thing is just like it's firmly on my lap, and I don't have to get scared of like just like ripping out something from it.
Yeah, exactly. Like one thing that I like about my Nikon is that it's heavy. So when you're playing, it just stays firmly, like you said, it stays firmly planted. The Razor Panthera has always been like a much lighter feeling stick, but you can slam your hand on it. It's very strong. I have slammed, it several times. I've gone, but it's very sturdy. But at the same time, it's also very lightweight.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. But I also been trying to ask folks like, what color buttons should I get, Chad? I want to get colorful buttons, colorful Samba buttons for this one for all of my sticks actually. But I don't know what color to get. I just got black and white right now. That's all I got. And I got the little Guilty Gear layout as you can see in black and white. So. But yeah, I want different colors, Chad. You guys got to tell me, and I need a design for my sticks. I don't know what design to get. I don't want to put no anime shit on my sticks like everybody else. I like anime. I just don't want to be like everybody else. Have
random. Want to have something personal, so to say.
Well, something unique and interesting, but I have no idea as to what that could be.
Yeah, exactly. You see like these really cool stick of the months type of videos on YouTube where it's just like here's this theme based on something, and then it's all the buttons and the covers on the stick itself is just like very connected with each other, and it makes this melt really good together. But it mostly depends really like what kind of stuff you really enjoy. But again, you can enjoy a thing, but you don't want to like show it to everyone, so to say. Exactly. Were I to put a new cover on this thing, I would actually have something that is very calm and collected, like a picture of a cutting board that has a lot of vegetables around it because if it was like, hey, I like cooking or I like to cook food, so I thought like, hey, that should be a good stuff. So like, hey, man, let me show you my cutting board,
I was thinking maybe
and then
putting
it's
like
just
a
stick.
classical painting on my fight stick or something like,
Mm,
you know, I don't know, like maybe some impressionist shit. I don't know. Letters
yeah,
on
yeah.
the buttons. I will go first part green, then pink, then blue, then green, just like your logo. Best stock fight stick with Street Fighter 4 anniversary stick. That is kind of nice. Yeah, I
It
like
was
that
pretty
stick
cool.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So other than that, is there any other news, or are we gonna move into question and answer? I think we kind of covered
We
everything.
did get some results from the Evo edition, FGC Arcade Evo edition early
Oh
results.
yeah, that's right.
So one thing that it was interesting, like they are current, like it's still going on right now. Like
Hmm.
tonight or today, they're actually gonna do the second part of Guilty Gear Strive, for instance.
Hmm.
So that's the reason why we haven't gotten the results of Guilty Gear Strive Europe West yet, for instance.
Yeah, and I don't think any of this is streamed either, but people can
Mm.
stream their run if they want to.
Exactly.
So let's look at so I don't know if you notice two thing, but K7 won the Mortal Kombat what is it? I think he won the Guilty Gear North America East and he got top 8 in the Mortal
Mm.
Kombat 11 America East as well. So two
Yeah,
tournaments.
really
So
nice
two
job.
completely different games. Very nice job to
Yeah.
him. You know, K7 is definitely one of the better players. Even in MK, he was always like a
Hmm.
super good player. Didn't know that he moved to Strive, but it's good to see him here. You know,
Yeah, yeah. I
so
did load it. Another thing I also noticed was like the different type of characters that made it to the top 8, for instance, on the Europe East. You actually could see like who won and the top
and the
7
characters.
apparently because it says no, no, no. It's
Oh,
just me
stop it.
misreading it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's mostly just like you have about two Sauls, one May, two Kais, one Rambathal, and one Leo. I have no idea who Tende Sasori played as, but it might tell you that how the big spread out is between the characters. If it was the worst case scenario would have been like, oh, they all played May or Rambathal.
yeah.
That
Hmm.
would be like a warning signal to some of us as well.
You know, I'm surprised to
But
see Kai in this list, but I will 100% believe Leo's top tier. You know, off rip.
mm,
Also, I
yeah,
do believe Ram is top tier as well. Soul, I don't think Soul is top tier. I just think that he's day one top tier. You know,
could be. Yeah,
I think he's like solid A tier. You know,
yeah, yeah.
definitely. Like he's definitely A tier, A plus tier, but not. He doesn't really have anything that makes him like super S tier to me yet
Mm,
that I've seen. And I played
exactly.
against, and for the edification, I played against some like really good Soul players, and I still think that Kai wins that matchup. And but you know who I am surprised to see in this top 8? Kai Dripsky. You know, definitely surprised to see Mr. Kai Dripsky in the top 8. You know why? Because everyone says Kai is garbage, but yet Kai is not garbage. Chat. He can't be. Can't make top 8 and be garbage. You know,
Yeah,
it's really tough. It's really hard to do so. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
if your
Very
character
good.
has problems. But yeah, I think in May, oh Kiyus, you remember Kiyus? He played in our YRC Wednesday, well, YRC weekends, I think, or Rocket Wednesdays. He was the May player.
Okay, okay.
No, Kiyus actually was the Holy Order Soul player who came
Oh
in and
yeah,
just won the whole thing on Rocket Wednesdays, I think,
oh yeah,
and he also went on to win. He also went on to win YRC weekends right after that. So yeah,
yeah, yeah. Very interesting and good
V-
stuff to see. We'll see how it will go actually coming up when they will do the EU finals on June 21st and the North America finals on June 22nd. We'll have for the best on the European players on the West European side as well. Best of luck to you. Who are those who are actually going to enter and play?
so June 20th is one today, but like I said, the
Yeah,
problem is they're not streaming it. So,
exactly.
but hopefully
We'll
at
have
some
to.
point they will stream the finals, which I'm hoping is what they'll do, which would be
That would be good.
tomorrow and Tuesday.
Abs-
So if they do stream the finals, that would be great. You
It
know,
would be absolutely.
and also just to let you know, I think Arkerwall did tell me in DMs that he was doing this tournament actually. So this is a tournament that he's putting on in collaboration with Event Hubs as well
Mhm, mhm.
and Evo. So this is like a side tournament for Evo, basically.
Yeah.
An online side tournament that happens like slightly before Evo. So
Hmm.
yeah. Other than that, I think that's about it. I don't play Grand
Yeah.
Blue, so I have no, you know, I have no saying on Grand Blue. I do know
Mm.
some of the players though.
I do know
Like
some. I
Swampin.
do know that one of the top West European player, actually,
Actually,
a
believe it
good
or
friend of
not,
mine.
Swampin actually played in one of my tournaments when Grand Blue first came out. I think he won it.
Mm.
He won one of them as well.
Oh yeah,
So nice to see Swampin coming up because I do know about
absolutely.
him. Let me see,
Hope
Tyga.
for the hope for the best as well on Strive as well because his Rambleful can be scary.
Yeah. But let's talk about the Mortal Kombat results. So, homie
Sure
Arn
thing.
Kratos, number one. Arn Kratos is going hard in MK.
Hmm.
So, Arn Kratos has won a few of my tournaments as well, and he also throws his own tournament series.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and he is like a legit pro. You know, he's been a pro for a while. Desarded, Mirko, B Boy, Q, Azamadaze, K Top GR. I know all these players. They've all played in my tournaments. They've all come up. You know, Desarded as well, definitely making the come up. Desarded was like okay, and then he started playing in my tournaments and then the pro comp and stuff like that. And his profile has been raising as well. You know, over time. Mirko, same. Like Mirko has done really well in tournament for a while,
Mhm.
but his results have been slowly getting better over time as well.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I know most of these players actually. Tweety, Mufasa, Too Easy. Too Easy got washed in fucking We Play, bro. Yikes! But he got top five here, so that's all that
Cool stuff.
matters. You know, that's all that matters in the end. And let's check out Tekken. I don't really play Tekken too much, but and I don't know any of these players either. So yeah,
Nah,
rip,
sadly, neither do I.
rip Tekken.
Would be cool to see like what kind of character they played as well, but
All right, so Nivik, do basic Mirko, serious Hitman, the big Russian himself, Omi. Omi coming up, nice to see. Yeah, you guys know I've always liked Omi. So, are we talking about Solar Kai? All right, it seems like we have a discussion going on in the chat that we're gonna have to address. So, let's move on to question and answer, and
I think that's a good idea.
let's talk about what's going on in the chat.
Yeah.
You know what I got to say about Kai? I think Kai's a 6-4 matchup versus Nago in Nago's favor. I think Kai is super solid, but has a disadvantage versus Nago. How come? Kai can be really good and beat you, but it's hard. You got a better mid game poke. You see it as a hard 5-5. You can poke through projectiles and charge dust as far as. Yeah. Yeah, Vermeers hit me with that yesterday. You can slide under your 5S. You can teleport bait DPs, command grab them. His slide makes him easy bait if you TP back. Kai is definitely the match you fear the least. You can also close slash hit him hard. In a matchup, you add up all the tools, especially that gives you mind games is a tool. I think that how I beat that soul yesterday in tournament, my teleport game was on point. Are we talking about Soul or Kai? You mark Kai as easiest, Millie as hardest. No, you played solid Korga. You saved that replay. You hit him with Charge Dust on round start. Yeah, Vermeers did. Yeah, he did. It happened.
Yeah.
The Nago Kai matchup. I personally feel like it's 5-5, in my opinion.
It sounds like a 5-5, yeah.
It feels like 5-5. They both have similar range. It just comes down to who reads who's 50-50.
Exactly.
Really,
That's
like
one of the most important factors. I think it goes down to the players right now
yeah, it
on
goes.
who's using who.
Yeah, I think tools wise it's 5-5 because Kai has an answer for everything if
Mm,
he makes the read. Just because people aren't making the read doesn't mean they can't make the read. You
mm.
know, that's what I think. You know,
Yeah,
like the read can definitely be made. Like there's
yeah,
100% counterplay. Like Kai has a counterplay to literally everything. You know.
yeah. We'll see how that will go. We got a question actually earlier in this podcast. A lot of people's opinions is different about Geo. What do you think about her?
Geo. Now,
Giovanna.
Red Raven made Geo look absolutely busted, but
Exactly. After
I
seeing the tournament yesterday, it was just like crazy amount of pressure and rush down
yeah, but
with
see, here's the
Geo.
thing though. Here's the thing about Geo, right?
Hmm.
She is a character that benefits from a strong player, but
Yeah.
there's nothing that's inherently strong about her unless you have excellent fundamentals. You know, She becomes really good when your fundamentals are on point, like how Red Ravens were. Like Red Ravens fundamentals were like godlike, in reactions
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
exactly.
Um, I feel like Geo, like when I labbed her, it's kind of like she's extremely basic. She's
Yeah.
almost like a Street Fighter character in that way. Like she's very
Hmm.
basic. She has a very basic set of tools.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I guess because she has a very basic set of tools, it gives you the freedom to really use them however you see fit. You know.
yeah, yeah.
For example, he was doing like a lot of meaty shimmies and stuff. Like he would dash up mad fast, backdash,
Hmm.
you know, dash back in close slash with punish, or he would dash up and then sometimes he would do meaty throw and then he would dash up
Yeah.
and then do meaty strike. Like all of these are just like everything you saw Red Raven do is just like basic fighting game shit.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. And there was also good approaches that they did because you could just run up, grab, run up, do a few strikes, and then do a
Back off.
magical,
Yeah.
yeah, or back off, or you just do a cross up and then see
Yeah.
if you can get an opening from there.
Or yeah, I mean it's plus frame. So I like the way he used the super, the air super. That's
Mm,
plus, or even on
exactly.
whiff, it's instant recovery. So
It's
he
also
can
a
keep
good
up pressure.
escape tool as well.
Yeah, good escape. So he's pretty much playing her like Cammy. That's the best way to put it. And I did kind of tell people I was like, Geo is literally just Cammy. Like she's literally just Cammy in Guilty Gear form. That's it.
Yeah,
Like
true that.
that's pretty much it. Like I thought Milia
Mm,
was kind of like this game's Cammy, but not really. Geo is more like Cammy than Millie is.
yeah, yeah.
So I feel like that's just kind of like what I saw, and the extremely solid fundamentals from him. The fact that he was able to get those big anti-air confirms
Mm,
into combos that broke the wall, that did stupid damage and sometimes kill. Like I mean, like I said, this is all basic fighting game stuff, but it's just player
yeah,
skill that makes her really good. You know,
exactly.
it's like player skill makes Geo like really good, but like
Yeah,
Geo by herself is okay. But
yeah,
Geo in the hands of like a really good player who has really good fighting fundamentals and has also good defense as well.
yeah,
Then yeah, she becomes great. You
yeah.
know.
I would say the same. I think shared design is and thinking is more inviting to new players as well because like here are the very basic stuff, and then you can just point and look at Red Raven and say like, look at him, he's playing the character you're playing. You should learn from him and
Yeah,
see how he
exactly.
does and what he goes with because that will help people understand better how to go with Giovanni.
hmm Yeah, so I think
So
same thing with Chip. When I lab Chip, I was kind of like, yeah, every option is bad, blah blah blah. I said all those things, but then you got motherfuckers like Satsu who comes in and shows you like it's not so much that the move is not good; it's more so in the application of it. You know, same thing with,
absolutely,
and that's also something I'm finding out about Kai. Like even though that cartwheel kick can be anti-air, it's more so in the application of it. You know,
yeah,
if you apply it in certain circumstances, they can't anti-air it, or if you apply it on hit, it doesn't matter. If you use it as a mix-up, sometimes people will not react. Like it's all so like the way Satsu was playing, like he never did the same option twice.
mm,
Like the application of a lot of those unsafe moves is what made them safe for him.
yeah,
So like for example, you see a lot of chips do like meaty Alpha Blade or whatever, and you saw that if you watched the tournament last night, like Latte would counter that, on reaction. Who else? Red Raven would counter that as well.
mm-hmm.
Even though Red Raven did make grand finals, but ended up losing to Satsu off of a very unfortunate drop, the biggest unfortunate drop ever. It was so
Oh yeah,
unfortunate that he dropped that
it
kill
was.
combo, but
It was the moment where Red Raven was extremely close to taking that victory, but or rather causing the reset. But because of that small drop, it was enough for Satsu to just recover and immediately take the win.
yeah, exactly. And momentum shifted from that point forward as well. So
Absolutely.
but just the application of it. Like I'm looking at Satsu and I'm like, well, this is how I went 50-1 against him because, like, yes, you might know what the options do. I played a lot of chips in previous games, like you might know, but the way he applies them in such a way where you're always thinking like, okay, what is he gonna do next? Because
Yeah.
he's never doing the same thing twice. He's always mixing up the options, and on top of that, he also has excellent footsies, excellent like fundamentals in general. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Exactly.
So it's kind of like, and the same thing with Hyperhiko. Like we know everything there is to know about May right now, and he's still applying things in such a way that even the great Latte Leon couldn't handle it.
Mm. True that.
And same with Latte. Pot is big and slow, but the way you apply and use the moves makes him dangerous. So, that's the great thing about fighting games is that it's one thing to theory craft, it's another thing to see it in action.
Exactly. Surprisingly, many people also just goes and say like, "Can I do this? Yes, I can." Instead
Mm-hmm.
of more weaker and lazy people who just complain, it's like, "No, no, you can't.
Yeah,
I tried it." Just
I,
say, "Oh, can you? Can you? Are you sure?" It's like, "Yeah, no, 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 man. It feels overpowered. Can't do
yeah.
anything about it."
Oh, I tried mashing every button. It's not working. GG's, put the game away. Korgarath said, I'm showing you guys unsafe random supers are useful too. Yep, Korgarath showing the power of supering on reaction to stuff. Like, people can
No,
do that, letting you know that that is an option. Always.
exactly.
Respect the meter. And that's another thing I kept saying last night as well. Even when on Nightmare streaming, he didn't respect the meter against the May and got blown up by a well. He said, Meta, you said it, and I still didn't do it. He said I didn't respect the meter. He's like, I told him, I said, respect the meter, bro. Like, even I fall for that shit too. I be going in, like, see, Guilty Gear is a game like that. It traps you. Like, once you start getting going and the adrenaline's rushing, you're attacking, you're
Yeah.
pressing all the buttons, you're doing cool shit. You want to go in and get your meaty. Next thing you know, reversal super. Oh, GG's. It's
Hope for
like,
the best,
and,
but then the game was just like, nope.
and then you just sit back and, like, the person doing the meaty couldn't reflect on themselves, so they blamed the wake up super. Yeah, it's like and then you just look like, how could I be so stupid? He had meter. In hindsight, it just feels so dumb. It's like he had meter, bro. All I had to do was bait it. It's the easiest bait of all time. But like, but it always works. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff and good thinking. Yeah, it was a good set of matches from those that I managed to catch as well.
Yeah. So, is there any other news you want to talk about, or does chat have any other questions before we wrap it up?
E3 is happened, or has happened rather, and there was some interesting games that showed up, but not really fighting games though. We did get to see the new character in Smash, but
Yeah,
that's
Kazuya.
about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kazuya. But Smash isn't a fighting game, but we just keep adding fighting game characters to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
Uh,
people complains now instead. It's like, oh, I don't want this. I want a new anime source fighter. It's just like, bro, no,
Ash,
don't go there.
I wanted to ask you guys' opinions on story mode if you checked it out. I was actually planning on taking the day off today, so I could hang out and watch story mode today, and then
I
I can
have
give you
not.
my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I haven't
I
watched
have
it yet.
not watched either myself, so we can't really say much. I did watch like the preview that they presented on release. It's just like hit the starting point, so to say, of where Happy Chaos came from, rather, and it was just up to her. No good.
No good stuff.
So we'll come back on that, maybe
Yeah,
on
maybe
another
next week.
podcast.
Yeah, next week we'll talk about the story. Because yeah, I've been meaning to watch it, I just haven't. Because I've been doing all the strive shit, and
Oh yeah,
I actually technically I need to make some YouTube videos, but I'm fucking exhausted today. So I think what I'm gonna
it's
do today,
Sunday, man.
Chad, yeah, I'm gonna go get myself a burger and fucking chill out and watch the Guilty Gear story maybe.
Have a good one. That's going to be enjoyable. Hope it's good.
Oh yeah, it is. There's a spot downstairs. They opened up recently. Well, they did open up at the start of the coronavirus, so I didn't like go there, and then they were closed for like a long time, and then everything started opening back up, and now they're opened up again. Um, I didn't even realize they put a burger shop right downstairs from my apartment. I was like, oh shit, this is what I need in my life, and they sell it for like $5. It's mad cheap.
Oh
You know,
man, that's crazy
and
good.
it's super good too, and the fries are really good. You know.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so it's like 5 hours long. Well, yeah, I'm taking the day off today, guys. I was thinking about grinding rank today, but I'm exhausted, Chad. We have put in so many hours. You guys have seen it. I put in mad hours. We've had so much views. We raised like damn near $100 last night for Strive for the
Yeah, yeah.
players. I mean, we have been working hard, Chad. We have been working hard than a bitch. So
It's been a hard one.
yeah. So I decided today I'm just gonna chill out. I was gonna actually I've been watching Vikings. I'm on season 5. I'm towards the end of
Mhm.
season 5 of Vikings. Why did it take me so long to watch this show, man? It's so good.
It's one of those things.
I want to be a fucking Viking now, yo. Scold, scold.
You could just go into Duolingo and just learn Swedish, and then from there on out, it's just like, okay, I learned basic modern Swedish. Right, how do you learn me about ye old Swedish?
Yeah,
And then you
listen.
can get to the Viking.
I just go to the bar and I just say scold, and I'm pretty sure everyone will know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, funny enough, there was a video I watched about the things you should know about learning Swedish, and then he was like, "Oh, if you're out traveling somewhere, there's a high chance that Swedish is nearby. So if you say something Swedish, they'll be like, hi, hey, you're from Sweden, yes?" It's just like, no, I'm learning Swedish. Thank you very much.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, so I'm checking out Vikings right now. We're almost done with the show. Play Valheim with me and Auntie. You could be a Viking there. I mean, can we wage war and you know murder people and then take their stuff and then say it's my stuff now? Can we do that in Valheim?
Uh, no, not. I don't think right now. But you can, however,
Oh,
kill
apparently
ice
Vermeer
giants.
says
Oh, they
yes.
can. Oh,
Apparently
okay.
Vermeer says yes. Okay, then I'm in. All right. No, like what's so crazy is that my wife always tells me I watch the same type of show, which is literally a period drama around war. And I don't know why. For some reason, that like really appeals to me, and I always wonder why the fuck does that appeal to me. And I always had a theory. Maybe in a past life, I probably died in a war or some shit. I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe. And like I don't know. It just feels like when I'm watching it. I guess it's an intellectual thing because I look at the battle and I'm like, who would willingly subject themselves to this? Like 1 minute you're just standing on the field with your weapon and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna run into these people who are running at me with weapons, and one of us is gonna die. You know?
one of us will go.
And,
It goes back to that scene in Shrek. It's just like Farquaad is just like, some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
yeah, exactly. And it's like, and then it's like you see the battle, and it's like all that big talk that happened before the battle just seems so stupid. Because now, like, you're getting your face bashed in, and it's kind of like, bruh, like, was this worth it? Cause like now you're just getting fucked, and I could just feel like these people are probably laying. Did they like show the people with their guts and go like, oh and shit? It's like you could just tell there's like instant regret,
Yeah, yeah.
like it's just no, this shit is not as cool as they made it out to be.
Oh, yeah. Fun fact about it, as Vermeer said, it's like Vikings take great honor in dying as a warrior. Like that
I
is true
mean, I
because
mean, they
they
say
will go to
that.
Valhalla to fight even some more.
I mean, they say that, but then when they're laid out on the ground screaming, I
Yeah,
doubt that that's very honorable. Like when
true
I
that.
mean, because like you just put yourself in a situation where you could get any type of injury, you know,
Yeah,
like you get shot in the eye, you can get, your head blown open, you can get your arm cut off. Like there's just so many different things that can happen to you, and they're all not good. It's kind of like why, you know?
oh
I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know. That's what goes through my mind when I watch war stuff. Like even Game of
uh,
Thrones. Like Game of
yeah,
Thrones was really more so like why,
yeah.
like it just feels so dumb.
I kind of feel say on the same thing. It might actually have the reason why I'm learning Greek right now. It's just like maybe in my past life, I actually was in the arena fighting for my dear life just to show a good entertainment to the audience, and then
Yeah.
the judge is just like, yeah,
It's
that
like
seemed better, and
yeah, it's
then
like
they
whatever,
sacrifice
fuck
me
out
and
of here.
have throw the lions at me.
Yeah, it's like what, fuck it. No, like for real, it feels like it. I
Yeah,
don't know what war, but it just feels like there's something like inside of me that just identifies with the random soldier on the ground,
yeah.
screaming. It's just like having that instant regret of this shit was fucking dumb.
Oh,
Like that was a very dumb thing for me to do. We don't talk about Game of Thrones after season 8. I mean, real talk after season like 5. Like it's kind of been kind of sussy baka a little bit, but you know, Game of Thrones is dead to me. Yeah, they really fucked that up, man. I don't know how they could fuck that up. Like they completely fucked that up. Like it could have had and my theory for Game of Thrones season 8 is they definitely should have just split it in half, had one season, one whole season instead of trying to rush it at the end. It would have been better if they just had one whole season for the Night Walkers threat and then one whole season for the Daenerys threat. And then it would have been all right, you know. It still would have had to end, but I mean, I think we deserved at least two more seasons, you know.
True that.
Like instead of just trying to like they because that's really what season 8 was. It was half White Walkers, half Daenerys,
Mm.
smushed into one season. And
Oh yeah.
it kind of felt like, hey, if they just added like instead of having like 3 or 4 episodes White Walkers or 3 episodes White Walker, one filler, and then 3 episodes Daenerys, it would have been better if it was like 8 episodes White Walkers, because then they could have fully exposited the whole thing and led to the ending with Arya killing the Night King more organically, instead of
Hmm.
it just randomly fucking happening out of nowhere. They could have
Oh yeah.
they could have built it up better, and they could have also closed up plot holes better. And then the Daenerys thing, they could have showed her descent into madness over a longer period of time, and it would have felt more organic as well, instead of her, doing all this shit for all these years, and then all of a sudden hearing some bells and saying, "I'm gonna go crazy now!" Ah, you know what I mean?
Exactly. That's just also like the thing, the dangers of like converting a book into something. It's just like how much depth would you like to go into to
Hmm.
put it out on film or a television series?
I think
That
they
was the thing that,
I think they did good in the beginning. Like they
yeah.
didn't have all the depth, but they had enough to build a world and to make everything make sense.
Mm.
And that's really all it needed. Like we weren't asking for like, a whole fucking encyclopedia script and 20
No.
episodes of exposition. Just put enough in there so that shit makes sense,
Yeah, yeah,
that's really all it needed, you know. And let's not
yeah.
talk about the battle for Winterfell. couldn't see shit, bro. Like I literally buffed the brightness of my TV mad high just so that I could watch it. You know,
uh,
I
and it
thought
was
it was
still
my I
difficult to
thought
see.
yeah, I thought it was my computer monitor actually that was having troubles with it. That's why I kept buffing the brightness. Is I was like, yo, like is my computer monitor tripping? Like what the fuck is going on? I can't see anything. They were
Kind of
rushing that they
explains
finished
the
the whole.
rush as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, they rushed everything. So yeah. Anyway, Game of Thrones, but I did watch most of the Last Kingdom a while ago, but I didn't finish it. It's also a good show as well.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
yeah, Vikings is good. I did recently finish Castlevania, all the
Oh,
seasons.
nice.
Probably one of that's an instant classic anime. Even though it's made in America, I'm
Mm.
calling that an instant classic anime. Americans are actually making better anime than Japanese nowadays, in my opinion. Like
Yeah,
like they
yeah.
kind of go into the core of what anime is, which is like good storytelling with good animation. You know?
Mm. I think the one example to that, to follow that up, is that Netflix was actually doing publishing help for this anime adaptation to a manga, which was about a yakuza that actually just retires and becomes a house husband,
Hmm.
or a stay-at-home husband. So he cleans, makes food, and then does these sort of housemaid type of stuff for his wife. And I looked at the animation; it felt like they just took like these panning shots constantly, where they had the character just talking,
Hmm.
and then there wasn't really like movement. It was just like you saw characters just like go and do around a few things, but the frames were very few in between, and it
Yeah.
was kind of a strange thing. Meanwhile, we have Castlevania, which, honest to myself, is just like, yeah, it's a good series. Shame they didn't have this character,
Yeah.
but I would still say, like, if you want to need to explain Castlevania Free's story along with Curse of Darkness, then I would just watch the anime, or rather the American anime.
Yeah, but real talk, it's some of the best animation I've seen in anime in a very long time.
Mm.
I kind of fell off anime because it started falling into these like anime-esque tropes. Like everything had fan
Mm.
service in it. Like it wasn't so much about telling a good story with good art or unique artwork. It just became about what people thought anime should be, and then the Japanese just kind of catering to that. So it's kind
Mm.
of like, oh, anime is, oh, you sexy baka, ooh, ooh, shit. It's like now that's all anime is now. It's like people catering to that shit. I'm like, that was never really anime. Like
Mm.
that's just you weeb ass motherfuckers making it weird. Like anime was
Yeah,
always good story with good art.
exactly. Like, remind yourself about Hokuto no Ken, Berserk,
Yep.
like the old Berserk,
Yeah.
and also about these
Akira.
crazy, grotesque animes where it's just like, let's have an anime where it's a war where children is around, and then they see one of their fellow man dies, and then they get shot in the head
Yep.
and explodes, and then he just like falls over. And that was something like you can show that, and then but then now we're moving on to more of the slice of life type of stuff, which is just like it's fine, but can we not lower the production quality? Like the only thing I can actually look at nowadays that is currently released is One Piece,
Yeah.
and that's just
Exactly.
like that. That's good.
I mean, One Piece is definitely good. Used to read the mangas growing up, and then like the shonen thing, like what's so crazy about like shonen anime, because I do still like shonen anime, is that they always start off as good story with good art, and then once they get popular, they fall into the
Yeah,
tropes.
yeah.
But
Bill just
it's always
produce
the beginning.
quicker and more.
Yeah, yeah. It's like always the beginning. It's like mega good. It's like always a unique art style, super interesting story, and then it just like once it gets like past like the first arc, and it's like, oh, everyone's talking about it and it's hype and popular now. Then it just falls
Yeah,
into typical shonen shit, and that's usually when I fall off. You
yeah,
know?
exactly. Let's just take a look at like some plots. It's just like the whole crocodile sub arc.
Mm-hmm.
They go to this island, they meet the princess, and then they try to overthrow him. It's just like several episodes, a lot of build up, and then a good finale.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with meeting up with Frankie and Robin as well, where it's just like they try to say Robin, Frankie tags along, and then the animation like goes up a few levels as well, and it also makes it feel like you want to watch the anime for some of these battles.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're going into like this final Kaido area of subplots or plot in actual plot,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like very good animation but very short episodes. It
Mm-hmm.
feels like,
Exactly.
and the manga is doing the same thing as there. It's just like chapters are very short. They just want to explain a little, but as much as possible at the same time.
Well, I will tell you that the other show made by the same people who did Castlevania, Blood of Zeus, very good. Shit animation though. The
Oh
animation
yeah,
is terrible. I'm assuming it might be because it's like a pilot series, maybe just to see how it does, and they probably didn't have the same kind of animation budget that Castlevania had. Because I will say that Castlevania's animation was not that great in season one as well, but then it slowly started getting better and better up to season four, where it was like every episode was like a movie, you know.
treat
Um,
for the eyes.
yeah, yeah. So it's like I'm pretty sure that if Blood of Zeus does return, that the animation would be better, but the story is very good. The story is very very good. Definitely worth watching.
Mhm.
You know. So yeah, Netflix anime actually pretty good, chat. Like the anime
Yeah,
that they make, themselves is actually legit. Like I'm not even capping, and I need to watch the other ones, the Dota one, and there's another one as well. But most of the so far, from what I've seen, the anime that Netflix makes themselves is legit. Even though
yeah.
it's made in America, it's actually I find it more entertaining than the Japanese made anime nowadays.
Yeah, yeah,
You know.
absolutely. And you could see that there was a lot of other shows that came was going to come out. Like there was going to be a He-Man actually coming out, which actually had Mark Hamill do the voice of Skeletor. And I was just like, okay, that's interesting. Tell me more. And then you saw like the preview type animating, and it's just like that's pretty good. That's like on Castlevania levels of animation.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So
Yasuke.
it's kind
Yasuke.
of
I heard about
starting
that
up a
one.
whole new
Yeah, a
a
whole
whole
new
new
industry.
idea. It's just like waking up American animation again, which should sell something to certain movie studios. Like, hey, you shouldn't have closed that 2D animation
Yeah,
studio just
exactly.
because more people wanted to watch the 3D stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Choreograph said they drop all the Japanese tropes to get straight to the violence. America. Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
Well, see, here's the thing: there's no tropes in American animation or anime style animation right now. Like what they're kind of doing, and one thing I did notice is they're kind of going back to the golden age of anime with their tropes. Like they're taking the tropes from there. You know, so like
Yeah.
they're taking like the way the story is presented, and that might be why I like it because I'm kind of an anime boomer. You remember the distribution house manga? Entertainment or Manga Ltd or whatever, who used to distribute all the anime. I think they did that in America. They were like a big American company who distributed like all the hardcore anime, like you said, like Fist of the
Yeah,
North Star, Ninja Scroll, Vampire Hunter D, like all those
yeah,
classics, you know. And
absolutely.
I feel like Castlevania, Blood of Zeus, Yasuke, all these Netflix animes, they kind of take their tropes from there, like the way they
Hmm.
present the story, like the way the atmosphere, the vibe, the more focus, like I said, on story combined with
Yeah,
good art, kind of thing. And like I said,
building
Yasuke's
things up.
yeah, building things up over time instead of just like saying I'm such and such from this village, and I'm going to be this, and we're gonna do it,
And then
yay!
they have a fight, and then they have a battle with like the antagonist, and then from there on out, the protagonist gets beaten up, and then he's just awakens the secret lost power that he's had inside of him because his parents hid this monster inside of him.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
he destroys and then he destroys the antagonist. The antagonist survives. He's just like, "I'll be back."
Yeah,
And then the
exactly.
protagonist is just being viewed as a monster or a hero because that's how these things go.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there's actual build up, actual character development, actual characters. Like that's another thing that was really great about Castlevania is that
Hmm.
character development. Like you really grew with the characters and you grew to like them.
Yeah,
Like I
absolutely.
like at first I found the sorcerer chick kind of annoying, but then as time went on I actually really like kind of liked her and I felt like she was like a homie. I was like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
yeah, homegirl. She kind of felt like homegirly. It's like, oh yeah, that's the homegirl. It's like, and
yeah,
that's same thing with Alucard as well. Like I kind of
yeah.
didn't like him at first, and then I just slowly grew to warm up to him, and then it got to a point where I got towards the end, and I kind of don't want to stop watching. I want another
Mm.
season, but I know they're gonna fuck it up if they do another season, so I don't
Yeah,
want
yeah,
another season.
exactly. I think the best thing is to stop now and just base it on the games right now, especially with it was very risky to go with Curse of Darkness because again, it's just like Trevor is still alive and go like what was it again? I forgot his name. The Isaac. Oh, never mind. It was a good idea that the first two seasons was based on the first Castlevania 3 on the NES that they played around with a little bit. There was a fourth character, but I felt like they gave some of that personality that he would have onto Trevor, where he's this like clever bastard. And I feel like that was a good idea to go. Otherwise, they would just have Trevor be like this religious go-getter happy guy. So it's just a good trade-off. Like, yeah, we forgot the dick-ass thief named Grant Danasty
Hmm.
and replaced him and had his personality transferred over to Trevor, which makes him more likable. He's just like similar to as you said, like this seems like an anti-hero kind of character, but then you realize like, yeah, he's been here for a whole while. He's just very used to it.
Yeah, he's jaded.
Yeah, exactly. And then then you also build up like the second season also builds up for the third season because
Hmm.
it's not stopping there. Isaac has revenge because hey, Dracula was my good pal. How dare you kill him?
Yeah. Will you be my friend, Isaac? Yes, I will be your friend.
And also, they announced that they're actually going to do another follow-up Castlevania series, which
Yeah,
is
like
actually
spin
based
off.
on the Bloodline, which is actually having Richter Belmont and Saifa or Maria Belnandez, which was very cool to hear.
Nice, nice. Attack on Titan
So
is
we
a
might.
masterpiece. Listen, I'm waiting for the finale, and then I'm going to catch up. But I did read pretty far into the manga, so I would pretty much say I know about half of the plot. I'm just waiting for the finale because Attack on Titan, it hits right here, man. It does. It
It,
really does.
a good amount of stuff.
Yeah, I gotta wait for the finals. I don't want to be left on no cliffhangers. The last time I was left on a cliffhanger, I then moved to America, and then I wasn't able to like read the manga for like years after that. So ask him what does he think of Hector. Attack on Titan is fine, but there's too much unnecessary hype. Nah. See, when I was doing Attack on Titan, it wasn't when I was reading it. It was not popular at the time. You know. So when I was reading it, I was like, "Yo, this shit is actually kind of hype." It got popular starting around the time I moved to France, like around 2016, 2017 ish. That's when it really
Mm.
got like super popular. But I do think that from what I've been seeing from the story, it still is retaining what made it good.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah, true that.
Nah, Hector is fine. I like Hector. Hector got a raw
Hector
deal.
is a cool character. I sadly never watched third and the fourth season, but I kind of get the idea because he's the playable character in Curse of Darkness. So I get a feeling like he's gonna bump heads with Trevor. I get a feeling, unless it doesn't happen. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, you should watch it.
I should.
Congrats to
Yeah,
him.
absolutely.
All right, one more question, guys. One more question,
Gorger,
and
I've got a
then
question.
favorite show of yours that you want to come back that got canceled too early. Me and my wife really like Sense8 on Netflix, the show where like people were psychic and they could feel each other. So like, and like everyone could feel each other. So like, like, and that includes like having sex or whatever. It was such a good show because it was so much about empathy, and it only got one season in a movie because apparently it was directed by the people who made The Matrix, and it kind of had like a big like, like what is it, like LGBT whatever
Mm,
uh bend to it. But there was also like straight folks in there and stuff like that, and it was like a mix of everybody all across the world, and there was like this big plot, and it was really interesting where
mhm.
they would all connect and work together to bring down, I forget the plot of it, but it's a really good show, and you guys should check it out. It is on Netflix. Sense8. It got canceled because apparently it didn't get enough views.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It got a couple million, but Netflix, they'll cancel you for getting like 1 million views. It's not enough for them.
Yeah,
That's
needs
like
to.
that's some YouTube shit. They like
Yeah,
yeah,
it's just getting tighter and tighter to make a show nowadays. So
yeah.
that's
So
unfortunate.
it needed to
Uh,
be way bigger. But yeah, Sense8 is a really good show that I would definitely advise. I think it got one season or two seasons. Let me look it up. Hold on a second. Sense8. Such a good show, made by the same folks who made The Matrix. Yeah, it got two seasons, and that was it. But yeah, me and my wife, we were so sad that it got canceled because definitely wanted more seasons of this.
yeah, yeah. Very sad to hear that because then you get a feeling that there are some good stuff out there. It's just like they don't get the chance to be in the spotlight to actually show up what they got.
Yeah,
Uh,
it didn't
ma-
even get reviewed that well either, from what I'm seeing.
oh man,
Yeah, CSA
that's not
continued to
good.
be positively received. It got reviewed like 6 out of 10, seventy
Mm,
percent 7 out of 10, but a 90% critical approval rating. But the viewers, like the critics liked it, but the viewers
mm,
didn't seem to like it. You know.
yeah. Uh,
So here's what it says as well. In a report released by Netflix, it was discovered that at least 70% of viewers that watched up to the third episode ended up watching the entire first season. Straczynski was told that people that watched it straight through 3, 4, 6 times. In another report released by Netflix, Sense8 was listed on the shows where viewers tended to heavy binge watch their first seasons rather than savoring the episodes while watching them at a slower pace. Netflix chief content officer Ted Sarandos praised the success of Sense8 in the up and coming French and German markets, but also globally. But yeah, for some reason, it got canceled. They canceled
mm,
it.
yeah.
Sucks.
Uh, I was for me. I actually thought of two series. One, I think both of them are old children's cartoon shows that I was hoping. Like, I will hope that I was really hoping that they would continue this stuff because it was some really cool stuff. The first one was called SWAT Cats: The Radical Squadron.
Yeah.
It was an American animated television show which had two of the protagonists actually fly this really cool flying jet and then fight against these really messed up and disgusting monsters every once in a while. And that was a really cool show because it felt like that kind of radicalness that you had like these guitar shreds with music, a good catching theme, and two characters that are very, in this radical, just mechanical mix idea. It's just like it's a big plane that they cooperate with each other and it's these grotesque monsters. It's just like this should not be seen by a child at all, but here it is on a Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network, whatever, and it was an amazing thing to see for someone who, in my age, when I was at a young age.
Yeah.
So it was a very enjoyable thing to see. It sadly they tried to like it got cancelled because it didn't do so well, and also they tried to revive it with a Kickstarter campaign, but apparently we have never heard so much from that ever since.
Damn.
So it was a
Yeah.
cool
So
thing. The other was mm,
Choreograph is over here talking about Firefly. That is also another really great show
mm,
that got
mm.
canceled too early. I did see the
Yeah,
movie as well, but yeah, that show. I wondered why people was like so on it so much, and then I watched it, and then I got it. Like it's one of those
yeah,
shows once again where you just grow to love the characters.
yeah,
As the show
exactly.
progresses. I don't know how they do that with their writing
Mm,
or with the acting or whatever, but it's like it starts off abrasive, and then as you watch like another episode, like the characters just grow on you, and then they become
yeah,
almost they feel almost like friends.
yeah. And that's really something that really makes it a good, enjoyable show. Star Trek, for me, for instance, like Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, was just like this is the type of way you like you get uncertain at first, at the few episode, but then you're like, oh, they're like that. So the character you feel like, wow, this character's a dick. It's just like, wow, this character's a magnificent bastard.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I watched a lot of the Star Treks, and once again, I love those shows. You grow to, like all the quirks, all the individual quirks of every little character. Even
Yeah,
Star Trek Discovery, I watched like most of that before I kind of fell off of it due to like doing a whole bunch of tournaments and stuff. And it's the same, you just grow to really like the characters, and that's just the mark of
yeah,
a good show. It's like you grow to like the characters; they become like a part. They feel like friends. That's just,
yeah,
just the best way to put it. When your characters start to feel like friends, then that's when you know you got a good show.
yeah,
But who's
exactly.
starting to feel like my friend? Mr. Kai Dripsky. That's who's starting to feel like my
Ah,
friend. You like that
that's a good,
segue?
it's good stuff.
All right. Well, we got to call it. That's our podcast. We went extra long today.
Extra long this time around. Not only did we talk about news, we also went about talking other things as well, like television shows and
Anime and shit.
anime. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go. All right, guys. Well, that's me and Ponteronten. You guys, I need to put our Twitters up on the screen next time. I'll create a graphic for that so people can follow us as well.
Absolutely.
This will be up on YouTube and Spotify probably within a day or two. I'm going to take the day off. I suggest you all do as well. I'm sure everybody here has been grinding and strive. Take some time to relax. Let the game breathe
Absolutely.
a day. You know, everyone relax because we are going hard tomorrow for Celestial. We're gonna get Celestial or die trying. I will not
Cool
get out
stuff.
of my seat until I do Celestial, blood clot or not. Let's go. So
Gonna have big blood, sweat, and tears on that
yeah,
entire
yeah.
24-hour stream.
Oh God, no. Yeah, I'm not gonna kill myself trying to get Celestial, but yeah, yeah. We will work on getting Celestial though. All
Good stuff.
right. So there you go, guys. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll just end the stream soon. Poneron, you got anything to say before we go?
Not really.
All
Have a
right.
good Sunday, guys, and enjoy the Steam Game Festival and download a few demos. You might find something nice around them.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay, I'm gonna check that out. All right, guys. Peace.
Have a good one.